Hello viewers, welcome to the lecture series of SSC Quantitative Aptitude. This is your tutor Keshav Agarwal, and in this lecture we are going to study ratio and proportion. So we will start with ratios, and first of all we are going to study the concept of ratio, and then we will study types of ratio, in which we will study mixed ratio, duplicate ratio, subduplicate ratio, triplicate ratio, subtriplicate ratio, inverse ratio, compound ratio. And then in the second section, we are going to study proportions, in which we will first study the concept of proportion, and secondly, we will see properties of proportion, in which first we will see intervendo, alternando, componendo, dividendo, and componendo and dividendo. And in the third part, we will study types of proportion like directly proportional, inversely proportional, mean proportional proportion, third proportional, fourth proportional, and first proportional. And in the third section, we are going to study law of ratios. And the fourth section, we will study concept of degree. And at last, we will solve some problems based on ratio and proportion. So let us start with concept of ratio. The concept of ratio is a fundamental mathematical concept used to compare two or more quantities or values in relation to each other. A ratio expresses the relative size or magnitude of one quantity compared to another. It is typically written as fractions or using colon. Let an amount be x and another is y. Then the ratio between them is x is to y or x upon y. In the ratio, first number, that is x, is called antecedent, and the second number y is called consequent. If a is to b is to c is to d, then a and d are called extremes and b and c are called means. And product of extremes is equal to product of means. That means AD is equal to BC. It does not change the ratio when we multiply or divide antecedent or consequent of the ratio by same non-zero number. For example, if I have the ratio A is to B equal to A upon B equal to A into C upon B into C, then the ratio will not change. It will be still the same. AC is to BC, that is A is to B. What should be added to all A, B, C, D numbers so that these become proportional respectively? Let x should be added, then A plus x and B plus x is to C plus x upon D plus x. If an amount P is to be divided A and B in the ratio m is to n, then part of A is equal to m upon m plus n times P, and part of B is equal to n upon m plus n times P. Difference of part of A and B is equal to m minus n upon m plus n times P, where m is greater than n. If the ratio of A and B in the ratio m is to n and the difference in their share is p units, then part of A is equal to m upon m minus n times p, part of B is equal to n upon m minus n times p. The sum of parts of A and B is equal to m plus n upon m minus n times p, where m is greater than n. If A upon B equal to C upon D equal to E upon F equal to dot dot dot, then each ratio is equal to A plus C plus E plus dot 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 till infinity upon A plus D plus F plus dot dot dot. Let us now study what are all types of ratio. So first of all, we have mixed ratio. Let x is to y and m is to n be two ratios. Then mx is to ny is called mixed ratio. Duplicate ratio. The mixed ratio of two equal ratios is called duplicate ratio, as duplicate ratio of A is to B is A square is to B square. Subduplicate ratio, the square root of certain ratio is called subduplicate ratio. So the if A is to B is in ratio, then subduplicate ratio is under root A is to under root B. Triplicate ratio. The cube of certain ratio is called triplicate ratio. The triplicate ratio of A is to B is A cube is to B cube. And the subtriplicate ratio is the cube root of a certain ratio is called subtriplicate ratio. For example, if you have A is to B, then its subtriplicate ratio is going to be A to the power 1 by 3 is to A to B to the power 1 by 3. Inverse ratio. So the reciprocal of quantities of ratio is called its inverse ratio. Reciprocal or inverse ratio of A is to B is 1 upon A is to 1 upon B. Types of ratio, then next is compound ratio. Compound ratio of two or more ratios, say A upon B, C upon D, E upon F, etc. is ACE till infinity and upon BDF, that is product of numerator and upon product of denominator. Let us now move to concept of proportion. When two ratios are equal to each other, then they are called proportions, as A is to B equal to C is to D. Then A, B, C and D are in proportion, or we write A is to B equal to C is to D. Properties of proportion. First of all, we have invertendo, the proportion in which antecedent and consequent quantities change their places is called invertendo, as invertendo of A is to B equal to C is to D is B is to A equal to D is to C. So we have just changed the places of A with B and C with D. So means A upon B is equal to C upon D, then B upon A is equal to D upon C. So just positions have changed between A, B and C, D. So alternando, A is to B is to C is to D is a proportion, then its alternando is A is to C is to B is to D. That is alternando of A upon B is equal to C upon D is A upon C equal to B upon D. That means this C came here and this B went there. Then we have componendo. If this is the proportion, then the componendo is A plus B is to B is to C plus D is to D. That means if A upon B equal to C upon D, then add 1 to both sides, then the componendo will be A plus B upon B equal to C plus D upon D. Dividendo. If this is the proportion, then its dividend is A minus B and is to B is to C minus D is to D. It means if A upon B is equal to C upon D, then A might we do minus 1 both sides, then the dividendo is given by A minus B upon B equal to C minus D upon D. And now we have componendo and dividendo. If there is a proportion, then its componendo and dividendo is given by A plus B, A minus B equal to C plus D upon C minus D. Let us now talk about what are all types of proportions. So first of all, we have directly proportional. If x equal to ky, where k is constant, then we say that x is directly proportional to y, and it is written as x is proportional to y. Second type is inversely proportional. So if x equal to k upon y, where k is constant, then we say x is inversely proportional to y, and it is written like this. Next is mean proportion. Let x be mean proportion between a and b. Then we write a upon x equal to x upon b. That means x is equal to under root ab. Fourth type is third proportional. Let x be third proportional of a and b. Then a upon b is equal to b upon x. That means x is equal to a square upon b. Fifth type is fourth proportional. Let x be fourth proportional of a, b, c, a, b and c. Then we have a upon b equal to c upon x. That means x is equal to bc upon a. And the sixth type is first proportional. Let x be the first proportional of a, b and c. Then we write x upon a equal to b upon c, which is equal to same as x equal to ab upon c. Now let us talk about law of ratios. So if a upon b is equal to c upon d, then AD equal to BC. So we have just sent this D there and this B towards C. Then we will get AD equal to BC. Okay. And now you can interchange B and C as well. This gives you the second law. Okay. And the third is if you can add 1 to both sides like we did in componendo. So you will get a plus b upon b equal to c plus d upon d. If you take difference of minus on both sides, you will have a minus b upon b equal to c minus d upon d. And this is componendo and dividendo. A plus b upon a minus b equal to c plus d upon c minus d. Let us now talk about the concept of degree. So to understand the concept of degree, let us consider an example. So for example, if you have a upon b equal to 5 upon 3, then find 5a plus 2b upon 5a minus 3b. So 5a plus 2b upon 5a minus 3b is equal to 5 times 5 plus 2 times 3 upon 5 times 5 minus 3 times 3, that is equal to 31 upon 16. And suppose if you want to find 2a square plus 5b square upon a square minus 2ab, then it is going to be, substitute the values, you will have 2 into 25 plus 5 into 9 upon 25 minus 2 into 5 into 3, that is minus 19. But what if I ask you to find 2a cube plus 3b square upon 7a square minus 4b cube? So this cannot be determined. Why? Because the degree of each term is not same. So if you see here, degree is 2, degree is 2, degree is 2, and this is 1, this is 1. So combined degree is also 2. And in the previous example also similar thing was happening. But here the degree is 3, this degree is 2, this degree is 2, this is 3. So the degrees are not same or at all the places. So this cannot be computed. To solve these type of equations, degree of each term should be same. So now we are ready to solve some problems. So the question number 1. If A is to B is equal to 4 is to 5 and B is to C is equal to 2 is to 5, then find A is to B is to C. So A is to B is equal to 4 is to 5, that is already given to us. B is to C equal to 2 is to 5, that is already given to us. So A is to B is to C will be equal to 8 is to 10 is to 25. So the option correct here will be option number B. Let us now move to question number 2. So if A is to B equal to 1 is to 2, B is to C is equal to 3 is to 4, and C is to D is equal to 6 is to 9, and D is to E equal to 12 is to 16. Then A is to B is to C is to D is to E is equal to. So let us express each term in terms of A. So start with A is to B. So A is to B is given to be 1 is to 2. So B equal to 2A, correct? And B is to C is given to be 3 is to 4. So B is going to be, so we have B is 2A. So B upon C is equal to 3 upon 4. That is already given to us. So substitute the value of B here. So you will have 2A upon C and it will be equal to 3 upon 4. And since you want the value of 3, C, so C is equal to 4 upon 3 times of 2A. That is equal to 8 upon 3A. Similarly, we are going to do with D. So C is equal to 8 upon 3A. That is already computed by us. So now C upon D is equal to 6 upon 9. That is given in the question. So 8 upon 3A upon D is equal to 6 is to 9. So D will be 12 upon 3A and it is 4A. Now you know A, you know B, C, D are known, and let us now find E. So D is to E is equal to 12 is to 16 and D is equal to 4A. So substitute the value of D, you will get 4A upon E equal to 12 upon 16. So E is going to be 16 upon 3A. So now expressing B, C, D and E in terms of A, you will have B equal to 2A, C equal to 8 upon 3A, D equal to 4A and E equal to 16 upon 3A. So we can combine all of these. We will have A is to 2A is to 8 upon 3A is to 4A is to 16 upon 3A. So to express these ratio without fraction, multiply each term by 3 to clear the denominator. You will have 3 is to 6 is to 8 is to 12 is to 16. So the correct option here is option D. Let us now move to question number 3. A is to B is to C is given to be 1 upon 4 is to 1 upon 3 is to 1 upon 2. Then A upon B is to B upon C is to C upon A is equal to. So A, B, C is given to be this, but we can remove the fractions. So we will have 3 is to 4 is to 6. Okay. So now A upon B is to B upon C is to C upon A is going to be 3 is 4 upon 4 is to 4 upon 6 is to 6 upon 3, which when simplified gives you 9 is to 8 is to 24. So the correct option here is option number C. If 3 upon 5P and 7 upon 9Q equal to 4 upon 5R, then what is the ratio of PQ and R respectively? So here we have 3 upon 5P equal to 7 upon 9Q equal to 4 upon 5R. So take the LCM of numerators 374 and LCM is 84 and divide each term by 84. So we have P upon 140 equal to Q upon 108 equal to R upon 105. So therefore we will get P is to Q is to R equal to 140 is to 108 is to 105. So the option correct here is option number B. Question number 5. If 3A equal to 4B equal to 5C, then A is to B is to C is equal to. So again, take the LCM of 3, 4, 5, it will be 60. So A is to B is to C will be 60 upon 3 is to 60 upon 4 is to 60 upon 5. So therefore A is to B is to C is going to be 20 is to 15 is to 12. So the option correct here is option number C. If 2 upon 3 of A is equal to 75%, of B is equal to 0.6 of C, then A is to B is to C is. So it is given that 2 upon 3 of A is 75% of B equal to 0.6 of C. So this means 2 upon 3a is equal to 75 upon 100, b equal to 6 upon 10, c. And if you simplify it, so you will get 2 upon 3a equal to 3 upon 4b and equal to 3 upon 5c. So if you take the LCM, it will be 6. So you will have, and multiply each term with 6, you will have 9 is to 10 is to 9 is to 8 is to 10. So the option correct here is option D. If a is to b equal to 3 is to root 5, then the value of 2a plus b is to 3a minus 2b. So 2a plus b upon 3a minus 2b is equal to 6 plus root 5 upon 9 minus 2 root 5 into 9 plus 2 root 5 upon 9 plus 2 root 5. So when you simplify this, in the denominator you will get 61, and in the numerator there is a product of these two terms, and when you open the brackets you will have 54 plus 12 root 5 plus 9 root 5 plus 10. So it will be 64 plus 21 root 5 upon 61, and this is equal to 1 upon 61, 64 times 64 plus 21 root 5. So the option correct here is option number D. If 10a cube plus 4b cube is to 11a cube minus 15b cube is equal to 7 is to 5, then 3a plus 5b is to 9a minus 2b equal to. So 10a cube plus 4b cube upon 11a cube minus 15b cube is equal to 7 upon 5. So if I do the cross multiplication here, I'll get 50a cube plus 20b cube equal to 77a cube minus 105b cube. So it is 77a cube equal to 125b cube, and it will be equal to a cube upon b cube equal to 125 upon 27, which is equal to a upon b equal to 5 upon 3. Now 3a plus 5b upon 9a minus 2b is going to be 15 plus 15 upon 45 minus 6, that is equal to 10 is to 13. So the option correct here is option number A. Now let us move to question number 9. If 2r equal to h plus under root r square plus h square, then the ratio r is to h is. So it is given that 2r equal to h plus under root r square plus h square. So it can be written as 2r minus h equal to under root r square plus h square. So if you square both sides, you will get 4r square plus h square minus 4rh equal to r square plus h square. So if you simplify this, h square and h square get cancelled. You will be left with 3r square equal to 4rh. So this is equal to r upon h equal to 4 upon 3. So the required ratio is 4 is to 3. That is option number C. Question number 10. The compound ratio of inverse ratios of the ratios x is to yz, y is to zx, and z is to xy is. So reciprocal of yz upon x is to zx upon y is to xz upon z. So their compound ratio is yz into zx into xy upon xyz. So that means xyz is to 1. So the correct option here will be option number B. So thank you very much. That would be all for this lecture, and I would suggest you to solve all these questions by your own, and I'll see you in the next lecture with more questions on ratios and proportions. Thank you.